Welcome to History and Mysteries Uncovered. Today we're going to be discussing the Dyatlov Pass and the recent changes in the case. The Russian government has declared the case solved. We'll discuss that later on in the video. But first, I want to recap the events that happened. So grab a coffee or a tea and let's get into the video. 61 years ago, 9 students braved the biggest exploration into the Ural Mountains, never to return. On January the 23rd, the group led by Gates Dyatalov left for the exploration. This was in the dead of winter at the height of the Cold War. At the time, Siberia was closed to outsiders. This was because of the ongoing conflict between the United States of America and Russia. The students were studying to become engineers and physicists, and they loved the outdoors, resulting in them starting up their own club, doing outdoor activities including skiing. The reason they ended up on the Ural Mountains is they wanted to earn a certificate from the university, and they needed to complete a class-free trip into the wilderness. At the time, there was no news coverage of the case. The Soviet Union took down any flyers around the campus regarding the students' funeral. Following the fall of the Soviet Union, more files became open to the public. The files revealed a full and complete investigation, ruling the student's death as an unknown compelling source, and then the investigation was closed again. So what did they find when the investigating party began their search looking for the missing hikers? The first thing they came across was their tent. The tent was sliced open from the inside, seemingly with 2 blades, with all of their belongings still there, including their cold weather gear, money, diaries, including their stove, which was still packed away unassembled. The group documented their journey, mainly to prove that they made the trip. They took 10 cameras, but only 5 were recovered. Daily accounts were written in their diaries until their last entry on the 1st of February 1959. It would take months to recover all of the students' bodies. On the 27th of February is when they found the first of the bodies. 2 were found at a cedar tree. The hands and feet were reddish-brown colour. They found Yuri Doroshenko, and next to him was Yuri Koronashenko. They were both found clothless. Igor was found next. He was fully dressed minus his shoes, lying face down in the snow, hugging a birch branch, with Senada Kolmogorova lying next to him. The position of her body was in a position like she was trying to crawl back to the tent. On her body there was a long, bright red bruise. It was on the right hand side of her torso, as if it was made by being hit with a baton. For a while the mystery deepened on where the other bodies lay, but in May the rest were recovered when the snow started to melt. Nikolai was found with a fractured skull. Alexander was found with wounds behind his ear and an oddly twisted neck. Ludmila and Semyon were found as well. Semyon suffered broken ribs, open wounds on the right hand side of his skull, exposing the bone. Both students had both of their eyes missing, with Ludmila's tongue missing as well. The parents believed their deaths had something to do with the Soviet military. So let's get into the theories behind their deaths. So theory 1, a Yeti. Theory 2, UFOs and aliens. Theory 3, murdered by an escapee prisoner. Theory 4, attacked by the indigenous locals. Theory 5, an avalanche. Theory 6, rocket and weapon testing. And then Theory 7, the Soviet military. It was stated that the hikers had died of hypothermia and frostbite, but some of their bodies had serious injuries. Because of these serious injuries that were found on the bodies, it's led people to believe that there's something more sinister at play. The Yeti theory debunked by an identifying image of the same skier in the same clothes as the supposed Yeti. During the 30s to 50s, Gulag, a hard labour prison, where prisoners were forced to work the country's hardest jobs. Escaping this prison was nearly impossible. The open-air jails that housed these criminals. When asked if anybody escaped, there was no escapes. But if a criminal did kill them, why did they leave all of their belongings? They had money, clothes, were still left. The Nazis were the first people to have the finger pointed at them. The Soviet investigators were convinced it was the Nazi that killed the students, because of the theory that the students desecrated a shrine, upsetting them. This was shut down because the locals were the first people to join in the search for the missing students, giving all their support. It is believed that the ground was too flat for there to be an avalanche or fallen ice. It is hard to picture an avalanche. Also, the tent was very visible and mainly intact at the time of discovery, not covered in any snow. Because the hikers had an open coffin funeral, you could see that their skin on their faces was a weird colour. They say it was the colour of bricks. Rumours went around the town that the students wandered into some kind of Soviet test and experiment in testing. They say the Soviet military were capable of inhuman acts, but the question is, why would they leave their bodies on the side of the mountain? Why not dispose of the bodies and make them just disappear altogether? People have seen burning objects in the sky, flying over the sky. Seeing these mystery lights at night time, some people believe that the lights might be aliens. Were the students abducted by extraterrestrial beings? It is now believed that the Russian government has now declared the case solved after 61 years. They have ruled the 9 students found dead as dying of hypothermia, caused by an avalanche and poor visibility. The deputy head of the Ural Regional Prosecutor's Office, Andrei Kuryakov, says, "It was a heroic struggle. There was no panic, but they had no chance to save themselves under the circumstances. The version of events about the avalanche has found its full confirmation, but it was not the only cause of death. When they turned back, they did not see the tents. The visibility was 16 meters. Many of the group may have had perished from exposure in the extreme temperatures. Temperatures can drop to as low as 45 Celsius. So, my view. So when I first read into this case and watched videos on this case, I thought, oh my god, it's got to be aliens. The way the bodies were found, the fact that the really bright skin, like bricks, the fact that they had radiation traces found on the clothes, I thought, oh my god, it's got to be aliens. The fact that some of the students had fractured, broken bones, missing eyeballs and a tongue, I thought, no human person could have done this. So now doing some more research into the case, I also believe an avalanche wasn't the cause. I don't feel like it was the cause of them fleeing in fear, ripping their tent either. The students were trained survivalists. They wouldn't just leave their tent or pitch their tent up where they believe an avalanche was possible. I believe that the Soviet military had something to do with it. I believe that they scared them out of their tent and forced them to flee for their life. I'm not too sure if I believe they caused the injuries on their body, but I could be wrong. I don't believe that this case is solved. There's just too much missing information. So do you believe this mystery has been uncovered? Thank you for watching. I know this is such a large case and I've just scratched the surface. You can find all my references in the description box. Do take a look. Till next time.